Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wrap, brought to you by Michigan Medicine Headlines. I'm Dan Ellman with the Department of Communication. This week, we'll be looking out for your wellness as we chat with Dr. Kirk Brower, the organization's Chief Wellness Officer. Before we get into our conversation, be sure to take just a few minutes and get caught up on any episodes of The Wrap you may have missed. You can find them on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any other podcast hosting platform. New episodes debut weekly and can always be found as part of the Headlines Week in Review. All right, now let's bring in our featured guest. This week wraps up Mental Health Awareness Month. And on The Wrap, we've discussed some tips and resources that can help you cope during COVID-19. One thing we haven't touched on much, though, is the Michigan Medicine Wellness Office, led by Dr. Kirk Brower. Dr. Brower, thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, first, can you give us a brief overview of the Wellness Office and how and when it was created?
Sure. The Wellness Office was created in March of 2019, and it emerged as a recommendation from the Civility and Wellness Task Force, which was a 15-member leadership task force. And so it was a recommendation for them, and in part in response to a faculty survey that we did in 2017, showing that approximately 42% of our faculty had symptoms of burnout.
Gotcha. Now, from a personal perspective, what sort of got you initially interested in wellness and helping employees find wellness?
Sure. Well, prior to my job here, I worked as a psychiatric consultant for the Office of Clinical Affairs, which credentials physicians, physician's assistants, and other providers so that they can practice at Michigan Medicine. And I was asked to consult when there was a behavioral event, such as rudeness to another staff member or not answering one's pager or coming late to work. And the question was, is there a mental health issue going on that might explain irritable behavior or what we were seeing in the workplace? So as I did that, sometimes I could diagnose a depression or a substance use disorder, sometimes not, but most of the time there was a workplace stress, a workplace stressor that was going on in that person's life. And so it occurred to me, well, why are we waiting till after these events occur? Let's try to do something more preventive. And that's where the Wellness Office comes in.
Yeah, and I think that perfectly segues into my next question. I was going to ask sort of why wellness is so important for faculty and staff. And I think you touched on it a little bit, but can maybe expand, but that it sort of presents itself, right, in different sorts of events and different sorts of behavior.
Well, yes, and our focus really is on organizational well-being and culture. And wellness is so important because caring for ourselves and each other will improve everything that we do, whether it be caring for patients, educating learners, or making new scientific discoveries. So we work best when we feel best. In other words, working well and caring well requires that we also take care of ourselves and each other.
Yeah. So what sorts of resources and services does the Wellness Office provide?
So the wellness, because it focuses on organizational health and well-being, what we do is we work with leaders, academic departments, and faculty, various disciplines such as nursing, medical assistants, physician's assistants, and we strive to assist their workplace well-being activity. So we share best practices with them, we share data from the institution, and again, our overall goal is to improve workplace well-being. We also partner with other groups at Michigan Medicine to provide essential services like mental health services. So for example, the Office of Counseling and Workplace Resilience, they provide counseling and mental health services to faculty and staff, and they're the experts at that. And it doesn't make sense for us to duplicate those efforts. Rather, we will partner with them to assist them in doing their job.
Yeah. Now, how have the services that the Wellness Office provides, how have they changed during COVID-19?
Well, they've changed in a number of ways. One is that our website launching our website coincided with COVID-19. And so our website became the landing page to find all well-being resources at Michigan Medicine. So our website is wellnessoffice.med.umich.edu. And you can also access it on the clinical homepage by clicking on COVID-19 well-being, guide to well-being during the COVID pandemic on the right side of the menu there. And if you do, you'll land on the COVID-19 Wellbeing Center.
Outstanding. Now, this is sort of a two-part question, but I just want to finish it up with this. What sorts of employees or what should employees be going through if they are going to seek assistance from the wellness office? And then those who decide they should seek assistance, how will they go about reaching out?
Yeah, so you're right. There's a spectrum of reasons one might reach out, and one doesn't have to have a mental health diagnosis to reach out. Really, what most people are looking for is emotional support during this time, sometimes tangible support. And if you're looking for that emotional support, you can get that through the Office of Counseling and Workplace Resilience. Their phone number is 734-763-5409. And if you're looking, there's also, one can receive support by text. So we have what's called a crisis text line. And if one texts the keyword UMICH, UMICH, to 741-741, you'll be put in contact with somebody who can assist you and provide emotional support. And both of these services are free. They're confidential. There's no charting in my chart or anything like that. Finally, if you want other services, just educational resources, websites to go to, or even you decide you rather have counseling outside of Michigan Medicine, then you can go to our website and it will be there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brower, for giving us this insight into all the services the Wellness Office provides. If you want to learn more about mental health resources available at Michigan Medicine and get some important tips, go to mmheadlines.org. That's mmheadlines.org. While you're there, you can check out other featured stories from this past week. For instance, readers learned about one patient who was able to have 3 ailments cured in a single day. And employees were asked to promote the patient portal as the organization goes to a virtual first approach. Find those stories and much, much more at mmheadlines.org. All right, it's time for the weekly trivia contest. Last week, we asked listeners, what song do music therapists perform during their tribute to Michigan Medicine faculty and staff? The answer is Rise Up. Congratulations to Beth Ferreira, who sent in the correct answer. Beth, a member of the Department of Communication, will be in touch shortly to help you claim your prize. And now for this week's question. What sort of transplant did patient Eyal Niekamp undergo when he was cured of 3 diseases in one day? Once again, what sort of transplant did Eyal Niekamp undergo when he was cured of 3 diseases in a single day? You can find the answer in a story earlier this week at Headlines, and once you know it, send it to headlines@med.umich.edu for the chance to win a great prize. That's all the time we have for this week. Dr. Brower, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all of our listeners and viewers for everything you do for patients, families, and each other. We'll see you next week.